What's going on, everybody? Another huge weekend for heavy metal, right? It's all because of Hardwired to Self-Destruct by No, it's not. There's other albums that were released. I swear that's what this series is all about. Watch the video for Hardwired to Self-Destruct if you want to. No, instead we're going to forget the bastard intro because we don't have 5 this week. We have 6 recently released albums that you should check out. We're going to begin with Devilment with 2, the Mephisto Waltzes. This is a side project of Danny Filth that wasn't actually started as a side project by Danny Filth. Are you confused? You shouldn't be, because I'm going to explain it, so everything will be fine. Trust me. This was a project that one of his friends had started, and he joined to give them a hand, got them the international press attention of Danny Filth being in the freaking band. And now he's pretty much the leader of it. And if you think that this is just another album where Danny Filth, the Cradle of Filth, is just vocally going everywhere, you're kind of right, but not really. He's definitely still showcasing some of those trademark wails that you are used to on Cradle of Filth, but this is a little bit more of a tempered beast. This is one that has a lot more gothic metal tendency that is then interwoven with a little bit of what makes Cradle kind of, famous. The way in which his lyricism is going on this is mainly slow. It's one that actually has a little bit more focus on pacing, and whenever it becomes aggressive, instead of it being sort of the status quo, it becomes something that adds a little bit of variety to this disc. Got some pretty interesting things on here, including Hitchcock Blonde, which is the second track on this album, going into tracks such as Under the Thunder. Full Dark No Stars reminds me of something that should have been maybe on a Cradle of Filth disc itself. This is an interesting listen. It's one that shows that Danny Filth doing something a little bit more muted or a little bit slower can work just as well. This is one where the groove is where it kind of is at. You should check this one out if you happen to be a Danny Filth fanboy or just want to check out some really unique gothic metal. A Sense of Gravity with Altrament is our second exploration for the day. This is a United States-based progressive mathcore band, or progressive math band, I don't know. Whatever the hell you want to call this bastard stuff, I don't really care. 12 tracks, 68 minutes. This is definitely a long one. It has some Between the Buried and Me tendencies sort of littered among here. It probably could help you, cleanse you of the Dillinger Escape Plan hangover that you're perhaps getting from their last album, which of course is literally their last album. But I like what these guys do because they do have a little bit of organization within the chaos, and it also is able to expand outward into a little more variety than perhaps you see in traditional mathcore or traditional math metal. This is where that progressive tag really takes control. You see songs on this such as Artificially Ever After, either that or Guise of Complacency, which go within the 6 to the 7 minute realm, or even the very final track, which goes nearly 9 minutes and really just shows everything that this band has to offer. The pacing and the variety on this album is what leads it to be really one of the more unique travels that you can take in the heavy metal universe this particular weekend. But it's also one where you can sense that there's still a lot that A Sense of Gravity can do to improve themselves. It's something where it still has a lot of spontaneity to it, and at times not every single experiment goes well. They're still learning a lot about themselves, which makes them a very dangerous product in the future, considering as they improve, their music will do exactly the same. So, jump on board the Sense of Gravity wagon. Come on! Check this one out. This one's really cool. Exploration number 3, and something a little different. Highly Suspect with The Boy Who Died Wolf. An interesting title. These guys are more of an alternative hard rock style band that has been getting a lot of looks over the past year or so. This is an interesting disc. It's one that definitely seems to have some of the charm of alternative music of both the 90s and the 2000s. It doesn't really sound like a lot of the conventional radio alternative or radio rock albums that you're getting within this past decade, within the 2010s. Instead, this is one that seems to have a little bit of focus on variety, experimentation, and really aiming to just not so much throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks, but just try a little bit of everything. For example, you get a track such as Viper Strike, which begins talking about racism for some weird reason, and is mostly done in this sort of spoken voice, not speak voice. What the fuck is that? But then a song such as Serotonia has a real heavy sort of Black Crowes or almost bluesy reference to it, and then the fuzzed out solo that you get, or at least the fuzzed out, instrumental portion halfway through this track just absolutely sort of takes them to this different, place. Maybe they're, forgotten cousins of Caius or something. It's pretty ridiculous. Wolf is an interesting finale, which is nearly 7 minutes. This is a band that's not afraid to take some of those chances, and what Wolf reminds me of a lot is that there are still bands out there that are willing to have their last song be their biggest experiment, the one that maybe constitutes the greatest risk. It's one that paid off for a lot of bands in the 90s, and it's one that's paid off for Highly Suspect. If you are a hard rock fan or are looking for something that is a little unique, and a band that may actually have what it takes to become something special, and something that you're going to hear probably overplayed on the radio in the future, scope out Highly Suspect and let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments below. Yes, I know we just talked about a mathcore or math metal band, but Ion Dissonance with Cast the First Stone, their first album in 6 years since Cursed in 2010. This is one that is marked by a lot of interesting factors. Now, once again, if you're looking for something that will cure the Dillinger escape plan, hangover, and a sense of gravity wasn't your speed, maybe this is a little bit more your speed. These Canadians have been going at it since the first part of the 2000s. They're a name that a lot of people know, and some people do happen to respect. They have a lot of variety on this album in the fact that you have songs that are about 1.5 minutes long, all the way up to the very, very big, large elephant in the room, which is the 9-minute DABDA, State of Discomposure. This track is massive, and it really takes on the characteristics of two separate tracks combined together, which is probably the intention. And overall, it's able to build a theme very nicely. There's something that's oddly intoxicating about this track, something that you almost want to see Ion Dissonance do a little bit more of, because some of the shorter elements and the shorter ideas sometimes cause some repetition here and there. But aside from that, this is a album that mathcore fans or, whatever, would probably dig, simply because one of their, long-term, veterans of the genre have returned after a 6-year wait and delivered some quality. So scope it out. Soulburn with Earthless Pagan Spirits. Exploration number 5 takes us to the realm of death metal. It takes us to the realm of Asphyx, and it's definitely one that's interesting. This is a 9-track affair where a lot of the songs are really ranged between the 5-minute and even all the way up to the 7-minute range. And what's interesting about this is that with a lot of the melody and the groove, the basic ideas of these tracks, there's not a lot of motion. They stick very much with speed and repetition, and letting the lyricism sort of do some of the talking, and some of the speed also aid and really provide the assist in that. Where Splendid Corpses Are Towering Toward the Sun! Maybe that would have been a better name for the album. That's the first track. It's nearly 6 minutes in length and definitely delivers a bit of a crushing death metal blow if it's not a little bit slow. It's definitely, this is one of those weird albums where every track feels a lot longer than it actually is, either that or a lot longer than it should be. Almost as though if you shed a minute off of some of these compositions, it would definitely help, and you definitely showcased a lot more whenever you get the tracks such as the 7-minute Spirited Asunder and the very final cutoff of this disc, The Last Monument of God, that have introductions and basic riffs that sound very, very similar. There is a lot of link between these two songs, and it's something that's difficult to ignore, and that's sadly kind of a bad thing. But overall, if you're looking for a death metal album this week, this might be one for you to scope out, so I recommend that you do that. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. We end our journey with Khonsu with the Xun Protectorate. I hope the hell that I said that correctly, because this is the surprise of the week, motherfuckers! Wow. This is black metal that has an industrial side, that has a progressive side, that has an epic side to it. There's a space theme, is what I'm getting out of this. This is cosmic everywhere. And this is also a concept disc, a 10-track affair. This is one that has a lot to offer, simply because this is a band that uses that industrial side in order to create a little bit of a futuristic atmosphere to really go alongside of the black metal riffing. And the progressive side comes in the way in which the structure and the overall narrative is sort of linked together, both from song to song, but also throughout the entirety of the album. This is one where it uses long songs such as Liberator, which is 9 minutes minutes exactly to its advantage in order to not only progress plot and, really deliver a top-notch performance, but also showcase the diversity of what that industrial side really helps to give them. And it's one that gives them the ability to sort of carve out these sort of semi-instrumental portions that have a little bit of a synth heaviness or a little bit of just a sort of darkness to them that really helps to move from one position to the next, not only in the track but also within the album itself. Gotta really give some props for the 12-minute semi-finale, Toward the Devouring Light. This is an album that has a little bit of everything for a little bit of everybody. Not necessarily album of the year style material, but it's definitely strong. It definitely demands your attention, and it should get it. So scope this out. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 6 pissing albums that you probably missed because you were too busy talking about Metallica. Don't worry, I was kind of in the same boat. I did that, and I did a rank them all, and then I did a creator song, and then I did a burp. It's all good. Let me know if there's anything that I missed from this past weekend. What is coming this coming weekend? That's a lot of coming. Porn jokes. What's coming this weekend that is really, really cool that you hope ends up on this series next week? Tell me! I'm Cover Killer Nation. I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for watching this video. To your left, you can see the playlist of all of the 5 recently released episodes. You should definitely scope that out. On the right, there's Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct, the album review, because I've mentioned it so damn many times. Subscribe. Check out the Patreon. Have a nice day. Thanks.